Okay, we're back on. It is Thursday, the 21st of February 2019. We got about 10 seconds to the open. I'm looking at Car Scientific Games. Cars, the gap up. Here's Scientific Games. Let's give this a couple of minutes here. Mr. GoDaddy is gapping up. Solar Edge gapping up. And weird. Car over 34. Cars seem to be giving it back. Scientific Games. Oh dear, I'm in the wrong version. All right, we're only about 2 minutes into the markets here. Let's give them a bit of time here to settle in. There's our sedge is working. Delphi, DLPH is working. SGMS, sedge. Cake. Cake and car both have high short interest. Car rejected 34. Scientific Games looks like 29, 29, 20. giving up. Cake. There's Mr. Cake. Got a little bit of a pop. I'm about ready to take my first profits in Cake. Very, very widespread. Okay, out half 100 of Cake. At 48.40. Okay, the stop now is at 48.03. I'm going to raise that. Whoops. Okay, sorry I didn't. All right, there was the long. That was actually the first sell was at 40. Let's go ahead and raise this up here now to 41, so we lock that in as well. The original stop was down here around 30, so 50 cents. 80 and 30 would have been 50. So let's still got some momentums to the upside. The markets are pulling back after gapping down a little bit. You see there's the 5-minute. And looking a little on the toppy side here with Mr. Cake. I'll pull that out of the way so you guys can watch it on here. Let's look at 1-day 3, because that's where I'm trading it off of. Okay. I'm not sure I really want to give the stop all the way there. I'm going to go to 48.64 on the stop. $48.73. I may get stopped out again, but I don't care. There's the stop now, about 48.73, under the 75. If this candle flips back the other side, we'll be out. We'll be happy. Let me look at the daily, weekly. Probably looking for somewhere around 50 bucks maybe. Looking at the daily, but to do that, I'm probably gonna have to let it rotate. All right, I'm going down to a 2-minute chart here to kind of get an idea of what the internal would look like. Still got momentums to the upside. And if I went down to a 1-minute chart, let's see what that's doing there, right? That shows 48.79. And why don't we raise that up to 48.80? Let's take this down there. All right, we made target 1, and we just hit target 3 on this puppy. So usually that means that it's pretty much all she wrote. But I'll make it break, say, 48.98, 49 bucks. Stops down 94. See if we could get just trying to develop a continuation pattern, but it would have to get over about 49.25. And momentums are looking a little tired. All right. And you see how the momentum indicator, the chop filter here, is flattening out. I'm out. Okay. Out at 48.97. see. So, thank you. Well, now this is what happens when we get gaps. Let me show you high short interest, gap, break above resistance levels, and going up to here. It could get 50 to 52 today, but I'm not, like I said, I'm happy to take my half out of the middle. We got, all right, I got out one at 63, and then 100 at 48.97 was $1.20. Okay, so another 183. Oh, and it, here we go. I did a premature on that stop out, and now it looks like it's still running. I'm fine. See, the other thing that happens, I've noticed, is a lot of times we hit these target threes, you take it, because if by the time you get it to the stop to get up to that level, a lot of times you're better off to go ahead and take target three. So I was most inclined. The amount of buying has slowed down quite a bit. Okay, let's go see if we can pick up another one with Scientific Games or somebody like that. FND. Oh. Don't know that I really like that one that much. Car's trying to do a little consolidation here. Let's go to a 5-minute chart. Let's do a 1-day 5. Over 33.15 or something like that, it could run. Delphi? Yeah, going back up to retest the high of the day. And our cake's coming back just like we thought. Copart. Nuvasive. I've only taken 2 day trades this week. Well, we had one holiday, so I didn't take. Oh, wait a minute, I take that back. No, that was last week. I don't think I took anything on Tuesday. I had one on Wednesday, and today's Thursday, so I've had only a couple. The Scientific Games really gave up the ghost. All right, well, let's go back and look at that cake. There's the target 3. We moved up. It pulled back, and it came through and did the volatility stop out right here. So it would have been 6 1/2 dozen another. Let's see if it still runs, so I'll keep an eye on it. The reason I'm keeping an eye on it is I'm trying to learn what I could do better to increase profitability next time. All right, I'm going to move over to ADI and see what I can do about getting out of that puppy. Monitor. Trying to close it at a nickel. They don't want to fill me. Probably just going to have to try to let it ride. We're sitting right smack dab in the middle here of max profit. I'm trying to get out something less than max profit. Probably ought to just cancel it and let it go. Look at CAR again. FND. Good, a little nice pullback in Copart. Scientific Games basically gave it up. Newmont Mining overdid it at the open. Solar Edge basically gave it up as well. Coke's trying to rebound a little bit here, but not worthy of my attention. Marathon ran up, gapped up on earnings, basically sideways ever since. This is possibly setting itself up for a breakout, but don't really know. The CBS that we did is a non-player. Pepsi gapped up, basically a wash. GTLS. Alright, ran up here, pulled back, watched GTLS as a potential daily J hook. Nvidia ran up to 160 and having trouble with that. Fundamentally, I have problems with Nvidia. They've kind of screwed themselves with the graphics cards. They overproduced for the mining craze. All right, SPXC 3656. Yeah, looks like pullback. Patrick Industries sideways. I'm not sure I like either one of those. CBS I can take away. ED is a possibility if people want to do a you wanted to try a very inexpensive iron condor here. It'd be $79. The market maker moves plus or minus $1. Let's look at ED here. Move this up here. It'll be at the end of the day. Probably not going to want to do just one day to run, but maybe you would if you did. Let's move these down. Okay. You would sell that one and buy $1 higher. Whoops, don't want to do that. And then you would sell, buy. And you get about $1 credit. And risk profile here, a little bit too tight. So, I mean, you'd be risking 10 to gain 80 or so, but it would have to stay really, really tight. So on the puts, I'd probably move this one down to 78. Come on. And move that 77. Watch how it recalculates itself. And 2, 18, 19, 20, 122. That'll recalculate. The gray area is where 70% of it will be. And let's raise this to 80. And raise that to 81. You might tweak it just a little bit in the middle. All right, and the problem is here you're looking at 15. You're risking 85 to get 15. It's just not going to work. Possibility is you could do a strangle on it, and they just got to move, and it's not expected to move. So how's my MGNX doing? Oh boy, not so great. I'm down a whole $15 so far though. I'm sorry. We'll look at SGMS. Okay, let's see. Thank you. I zoned out, was looking at my ADI, trying to figure out how to kill it. Yeah, the problem I've got, though, Valerie, is that it basically gave up almost 100%, retraced 100% of its gap up. Then that means this is probably only going to go up about half, maybe less. And if it went from, say, 26 up to 29, half of that's $1.50. 29, 27.50-ish, and that's kind of where we are. I mean, so somewhere in this 27.50 to 28. Yeah, large stop. I mean, yeah, that's the problems. And okay, came back and would have taken out our stop. It looks like it's tried to go back up. Delphi still in the retracement mode. Car basically fell out of bed, but went up back and retraced back and retested the highs. So yeah, car definitely, because it's got high short interest. Let's look at the daily on car. The problem is with cars daily, we're looking at all this stuff over here to the left around 34, which is why I was a little concerned about it. Hertz had almost 50% of these float short. It did the gap up into here. It does report in a couple of days. If you do the split view, this is a sympathy play. They don't necessarily work out all that great. They have a few legs, but not a lot. It is in its gap. If you notice, I had marked that up quite a bit before. I think it might come in better than normal and go up to 21, but that would be a crapshoot now. People were really on top of it. You'd maybe sling a bet on it last night before the car reported. An out of the money sling bet type thing. I'm going to try to grab one thing off of ADI and I'll be right with you guys. $107.72, okay, and 102.29. All right, so I've got my bound set. Yeah, Mr. Delphi. Well, Scientific Games at 28. But the only way you could have probably entered that one would be your stop, play around with it, and make it 27 and say, well, if it broke out, I'm not going to let it go much below that. Give it 50 cents. But if you're going to get 50 cents, you better be getting 1 to 1 and then 2 to 1. That would have been 28, which was kind of reasonable. 28 and a half is probably a bit of a stretch in my imagination, but we'll see. Delphi. Delphi is just going sideways in price while the stochastics RSI is catching up. Building up strength for the next move. FND, our rocket ship. Let's see, active trader. Spread's only about a nickel to 8 cents, something like that. Volumes are kind of low. Only 700,000 shares right now. Whereas something like CAR has 7.5 million. Solar Edge had the edge taken off of it. And Cake gapped up, ran up, basically stopping. It's trying to consolidate and digest that move up. All right, February 21. ADI we're going to get out of today, one way or the other. And Cake. 183. Okay, the markets, let's go back up here. Markets are doing a zigzag lower. We had some really strange price action over the last few 15, 20 minutes. 10 o'clock, we probably had new home sales out. And probably they did not like that number. SPXU, kind of hard to get any of these. Let's go to a 3-minute chart. You got up, back, up. Yeah, these are problematic at best. Let's back off to a 30-minute chart here. We're probably going to go back here to 276.5. Do the hourly. Yeah, we're coming back into this consolidation area. That doesn't give us a whole lot to the downside. Excuse me. Maybe get some sort of quickie bounce back up to 277.10 or then roll over. Would allow you to maybe play around with a spider put or something like that. Right now, I'd go with stocks on their own page. Delphi is still looking pretty sharp. Back to a 5-minute here. Gone sideways. Stochastics RSI just basically building up costs for the next move. FND. You son of a gun. RSI is stochastic RSI is pegged at the top Strongest of the strong will do that. Price is king, and we're still kind of going higher, but watch out for any pullback. Okay, finally moved up a little bit again. Show the 3-minute chart. You see the little pullback and move up. ATR stop would have stopped you out at 48.50 if you were so inclined, even on a 5-minute. SGMS right now still having trouble with 28. We'll see if we get a bigger pop. We got Baxter over there. Let's look at BAX. Yeah, BAX is in breakout mode. Don't know when the earnings are though. Verizon's over 56. That's kind of a mini swing break. Okay, I'm just looking at some of these that are flying by. Scientific James got a little bit of a pop. IGT, if no. Well, the utilities are going higher. Well, let's see, Brunswick Corp. Well, 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 Mr. Cake. You really took the cake. 5 minutes. Little J hook there. Right on top of the T-line. Could go along somewhere around this $49 level. You'd have to give it 50 cents on that one. Hi, Jeff. PVAC? Never heard of them. Pin, oil and gas. Can you tell me how many shares you think this trades in a day? How about 86,000? Do not touch it. I don't care what the pattern is. How'd you find out when Jeff? Which scanner was that? Was it TC2000 or something? Or was it it couldn't have been the scanner up here. TOS. Okay. You need to put in minimum volumes. Right. Let me show you. Okay. Alright. Let's talk about tradable. Oh! Ha! I got my fill in ADI at a nickel. Just put it in there, huh? So I'm trying to figure out Thinkorswim. All right, remember the CVS loss that I took the other day? ADI made up for it. So I'm basically a wash on those last two. All right, let's go back to cake. All right, let's see, scan. I'm not much of a TOS scan person because I prefer TC2000. All right, what did I have here for? Okay, right here, you know, this is volume, which is volume for the day, but there could be an average volume. What did I? Volume. Okay, here, average volume. You could add that. Let's do say something like, I don't care if it's 50 days, I'm going to do 20. Simple, greater than, and then right in here in thousands, let's just say 475,000. And I need to remove volume here. And price I'm going to make 5 up to 500. let's scan it. All right, then you got things like ATTU, whatever. The problem that I've got with these is that now if I've got ATTU, where can I mark it that one? Right. I can't click on it as far as I can tell and have it automatically come up on my chart. Now, is there a way to set them up? So I'd have to type them all in. And if I wanted to just click on, say, ATTU, Car, Cake, and Devon, and then put those in a watch list, I can't do that very easily. I can save everything here in a watch list, but the watch list scanning and management is just not up to par with TC2000, which is only $250 a year. You're talking about $20 a month. Well, for the I'll say end of day, the 15-minute delayed. But you got to put in some sort of volume for yourself there, so you don't get crap. Make sense there, Jeff? You don't want to be wasting your time looking at stuff that you would never ever trade. Hey, no problem. But the thing is, having those in a scan automatically filters those out, and it doesn't waste your time where you look at it even for a second. Whoops. Cake is getting a little volatile out there, so I'm gonna put it to rest. Sedge is basically giving up everything. Scientific Games at 28.50 there. Val, I talked you out of it, and it just didn't work. The one thing about Scientific Games, I believe, that I should have factored in, it did not. It is high short interest, almost 25%. So that should have been factored in. My bad. And if I look at a 3-minute on this instead of a 5, you see how we got the retracement. It was a bit deep. This normally means on the retracement like this that you're not going to get all the way to the top, but 28.80 is pretty close to the top. Now it's on a 3-minute. We're going to go back to a 5-minute. 29 is the top. And I've got 7 to 10 cent spread. Our Sedge gave it up. Cake is just all over the place. CAR, trying to consolidate and digest those gains. Obviously, ADI is pulling back in there for me. Got up here towards the these were the levels that I had to stay below, and the levels that I have to play above are off the charts to the bottom. So I could have tried to let it expire worthless, but I'm not going to be here, so didn't do that. I'll keep an eye on this Scientific Games for us. Sorry if I gave you bad advice and a bad take on that there, Val. Okay, we're looking at 10:30. We're trying to bottom out right here at this 277 level. Let's see if we can break over 277.50 or break well below, say, 276.90. Those are the key levels. All right, gonna go cold mic for just a bit. Gonna get some water for my my throat here. Yeah, well, I mean, it's I had no idea that it was going to pull back like this. But hold on. Excuse me. Oh, I couldn't get to the microphone. Sorry about that. I could not get to the microphone quickly enough. You know, this basically went parabolic. When it goes ballistic like this and gets too far away from the norms, give it a chance. You know, put it on your radar scope. Gold is pulling back. Nugget, not as bad as JNUG. But, you know, this is nothing more than, right now, it's nothing more than a pullback and an uptrend. Wow, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I told you to do. There, pull back. If we pull back down to this level or anywhere around in here, anywhere in between these two, that could, and a buy signal, curl back up, that could be a buy. Mr. Scientific Games is almost at 29. I'm going to be probably splitting my attention here. I've got to update the new trade of the week is out there, and on YouTube. If you want to go directly to it, I'm going to put it on the didn't have one for a couple of weeks, and then I had 2 in 2 days. So Garmin and Cake. Well, I need help on updating that on the website, and you guys going to help me out. Well, Scientific Games got up to 29 and made a liar out of me there, Val. LOL. Boy, Scientific Games, the analysts aren't doing a very good job of estimating their earnings potential. Last quarter back in November when they reported, they were expecting them to lose around 17 cents and they lost $3.85. This quarter they thought they were going to make about 9 cents and they made $2.21. Right. They were close. Okay, 1040. Market's still just kind of lollygagging around at the bottom. I don't know what they're waiting on.
As we can see here, holding to expiration had the highest average profit and loss, while managing profits earlier actually reduced profitability because we're taking smaller and smaller profits, but we're keeping the losses the same. So in this slide, we're looking at the average time in trades based on each management approach. So by closing trades earlier, each position is held for less time on average. Now, since we have less time in each trade, that means we can make more trades in each similar period of time. So for example, with the 25% profit target or expiration approach, each trade is held for 15 days on average. So that means for each 45-day window, we can have 3 of those trades on average. So knowing this, we have to adjust the average profitability per trade to some standardized time period so that we can adjust for each 45-day period, find that managing profits at 25% of the maximum profit potential, and therefore we actually saw a notable increase in performance when taking profits earlier at the 25% profit target level. So this data suggests that based on the 70,000 trades that we've tested, managing profits earlier for trades with short options that are closer to at the money tends to be a better approach than managing profits at a higher percentage. So when we take out the estimated commissions for the 30 Delta Iron Condors over a 45-day period, we find that the 25% profit target category still is the best approach in terms of the Iron Condor variations when filtered by implied percentile of VIX levels, and the 75th implied volatility increases or 25% of the maximum profit potential. So now that we've discussed the 16 Delta and 30 Delta Iron Condor performance with various management combinations, we need to look at the VIX level at the time of these trade entries to determine if implied volatility increases or decreases performance based on the management variations. So how did each Iron Condor management approach perform in various implied volatility environments? So to find out, we evenly divided all of the occurrences into 4 VIX buckets based on the VIX level at the time of trade entry. So for our cut points, we used the 25th percentile of VIX levels, the 50th percentile of VIX levels, and the 75th percentile of VIX levels to create 4 evenly divided buckets with an equal number of occurrences in each bucket. So the first one is VIX buckets based on the VIX at trade. It's very eye-opening in that when you sell iron volatility environments. Now, of course, these are historical results and are not guaranteed to continue, but we have profit potential. Now, when we take into account the VIX level at the extreme, but in this case, the VIX being over 23.5 has resulted in the highest profit.
Most option traders start out buying options because it's simplest to understand. If you think Facebook stock will go up, you could buy a call, and if you think Facebook stock will go down, you could buy a put. This sounds great because you can trade the options with much less capital than if you were to simply trade the stock. Let me show you an example. First, let's look at an option chain on stock XYZ, which is currently trading at $75 per share. Let's say you are bullish on the stock and you're looking to buy a call option. So we're just going to go ahead and ignore the put options for now. If you were to buy the 70 strike call option, for example, this would cost you $750, and you're hoping that the price of XYZ will rise so you can make money. But this is not a very good trading strategy because it puts time decay against you, and not only does the price of XYZ have to move up, it has to move up a significant amount for you to even break even. In this case, your break even is at $77.50, a full 2.5 points above the current stock price. And if XYZ sits still and trades sideways, you're screwed because your option you just bought will decay each and every day. And that's what options are, guys. They are depreciating assets, and any smart investor is not going to buy a depreciating asset and call it an investment. Let me show you a better way that allows you to make a directional bet on the stock, but without having to buy a naked option or put up tons of capital to trade the stock itself. And we're actually going to eliminate time decay altogether. Instead of just buying the 70 strike call option, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to buy this option, but we're also going to simultaneously sell a cheaper out-of-the-money option to reduce our cost. So in this case, we're going to buy the 70 strike call for $750, but we're also going to sell the 80 strike call for $250. This knocks our cost down by a full $250, and our net price is now just $500. This is called buying a vertical spread. By trading a vertical spread rather than simply buying a single option, we're able to significantly
do you need to ignore? Well, remember stochastics RSI, if I think that's what you're asking about, is just a confirming indicator. But, you know, if you're looking at the daily, use the stochastics RSI and the price chart of the same time frame. And if you enter on a daily, you should trade the daily. Don't start then jumping back and forth between higher and lower time frames. You'll just mess your brain. And you need to stay with, I'd like to look at a good daily. Okay, SNPS looks like might be put in back on daily before. So maybe, okay. Well, let me then look at SNPS. All right. You might pull back on a daily, and the 4-hour chart says well, the 30 looks like it's bouncing now. What I'm thinking is that if I go to a split view, if I just use a 15 because I don't have a 30, you know, again, this isn't an overall uptrend. If you're looking for it to be short, that would be an aggressive trade. You know that you probably got 97.5 is a support level. It got down to about 98.5 and bounced. So right now, this level here would be a support level, but it has to prove that it's going to hold. We went down, we rallied, and it looks like if we could roll over here and go down, say below 100.50, that we may go back down and retest this low. But can't tell. Did it report today or something? Sure did. Okay. Hope that helps. All right, coming up on 11 o'clock, and all we're doing is just going stationary. Watch for a move over 277.50 or under 267.75. 276.75. Good morning, Steve Reiser. May I help you? I'm doing all right. How can I help? No, we're not really seeing any improvement. We didn't quite expect any, because we didn't expect it to be, he didn't seem to be in any real pain. He just had the characteristics of just not being able to control his hind legs. Now, the one thing that we've got is that Lilo came home and her right front paw is a little tender. We do have the mousse that we've applied, but she's still kind of limping. We'll see what's wrong with the pads on her foot. No, not for Dr. Marble. Just the question about what I'm not sure I got what the thing is. She doesn't seem to be any pain or anything, but her Lilo's right paw, front foot. If it doesn't get better in a few days, obviously we bring her back in. Okay. Well, I mean, if she's not better in a few days, I'll call you back. How would we do that? All right. Right. You too. Bye bye. All right, we just passed 11 o'clock, and we did a little bit of a pop over to 277.50, but looks like we're trying to retrace part of that at the moment. Let's see what it does. Yeah, we could go to 278. The open was at 277.75. That's kind of where we got up to. We're trying to change our direction to up, but nothing jumps out at me as being must buy at the moment. baby. Come on. There you go. Hey, would you like for me to get Muffin to come over and play?